Welcome to Forum 360. I'm Ardith Keck, your host today. With me are the founders of the Breathe program at Revere High School in Richfield and Bath. The system is in Bath as well. We need them to tell us what Breathe is an acronym for. But this program has had its successes, and it's important to learn more about it. With me are Maria Manning, who is co-founder of the program. Give them a wave, Maria. And she's a registered dietitian. Kim Heminger is the other co-founder of the Breathe program and a registered nurse. Also involved in the program is Jen Hayes, and the owner of Afterlight Fitness and Educational Consulting. And we need to learn more about Jen's involvement with the program. So Maria, please tell us what the Breathe program stands for.
So Breathe stands for Building Resilience Through Education, Awareness, Tools, and Health Empowerment. And so it follows nicely with what we do, and so it's called Breathe, the Breathe Initiative.
Okay, and what does that mean?
So basically, when we developed this program, we decided that it was important to give our students and our staff the tools they need to build resilience. It's a stress reduction and stress management program, and so part of what we do is to provide tools for our staff and students to be able to be successful in that, and empowering their health in other ways too, through lifestyle factors and mindfulness, which is a big piece of what we do.
Kim, what inspired the PTSA, the Parent Teachers Association, to develop the Breathe initiative?
Well, every year, Maria and I, we are the co-chairs for the Health, Safety, and Welfare Committee. And every year we try to find the most important thing to address as far as the health and wellness of the students. And our PTSA as a collective overwhelmingly said that we really need to address stress management in our students. So that's what inspired us. And we went to the school. We went to the administration of the high school to talk to them about this, because Maria and I thought it was really important to bring in tools like mindfulness to address this. We wanted to bring in a lot of different creative ways to help students manage stress. And so we went to the school to discuss these ideas with them. And to our surprise, they were extremely welcoming and encouraging us to continue with this whole initiative, and they wanted to partner with us.
So has the school had suicides or difficulties that made them think of this? Maria?
We did have a suicide a few years ago, and that was obviously very concerning and distressing for everyone. That, along with just nationally, we see that the stress of students and staff are rising. And I think we all are aware of that.
Is this strictly a Parent Teachers Association program, or is the whole district involved?
Well, initially, it was initiated by the Revere PTSA. And at this point, the Revere PTSA is the fiscal officer and will remain the fiscal officer. However, from the very get-go, this was a partnership with the Revere School District. We very quickly developed a team, and that team included administrative members from the high school, the principal, the assistant principal, also the superintendent. We had counselors, teachers, parents, community members like Jen, students. Everyone became involved. But our vision is this: we really need to keep this a strong partnership with the Revere School District. because the way we see it is that the Breathe Initiative will continue to support and encourage the district to continue to incorporate policies and programs that help students and staff manage their stress. And so eventually we see it that there won't even be the need for a Breathe Initiative, because it's become a natural functioning of the school district.
Okay, and Maria, is this a program where you have involvement from a lot of other people?
So we, yes, initially, one of the very first things we did when we started this initiative was, like Kim said, we met with our administrator and our school counselors at Revere High School. So that's where it started. They overwhelmingly agreed that this was a great thing for us to tackle. From there, we reached out to Jen Hayes, who is a community member who has a lot of work with mindfulness, breath work, yoga. She brings that to the schools. She could talk a little bit about what she does, but that was one of the things we did. So there was that. And then she encouraged us really to build a team, because, you know, we wanted to affect the culture at Revere High School and Revere Middle School. And we found that the younger grades are doing a really good job with helping students, but the high school and middle school were where we focus our efforts, and that's where our Breathe Initiative has landed. But from there, she encouraged us to build a team. So we got on any teacher on board that was interested. We decided that we should include all the counselors from the middle school and the high school. And actually, all of our counselors are involved from our K up through 12. All the counselors of the different schools have joined us on the Breathe team, we call it. And we host meetings once a month, as many months as we can through the year, the school year, where we get their input, and it's valuable. And so they are basically the ones where we developed a mission statement and a vision statement for what we're doing and programming. We bounce that off them. So it's not just a couple PTA people trying to come up with things. We tried to get the expertise from other people. And Jen has been a huge part of that as well, what she's brought to the table as far as programming. So Kim and I, from our backgrounds of functional medicine and health and overall wellness, we understand that kids need to sleep better. They need to eat better. They need to exercise. They need, you know, we researched and found out how important gratitude was in this whole thing, and positive peer relationships. That's why we're including mentorship in this. But Jen has brought the expertise that we needed in mindfulness, and what kind of programs, a lot of programs are focused on that, and self-regulation and understanding your body and becoming aware of it. And so that has been a huge piece to us, is the professional involvement that she's given us.
Jen, let's get you into the program here. Can you tell us what is it that you add to the program?
So I spent 17 years as a classroom teacher, and in that time, obviously lived the life of a teacher. My husband is also a teacher at Revere High School, so I still very much live the life of a teacher. So I can come in with different perspectives. I can look at different things and program for students, but then also program for staff, which is what we've done through the Breathe Initiative. Currently, I am considered their mindfulness coach or the mindfulness consultant for the Breathe Initiative. I wear several hats in my world. One of them has been, I work for a company where we train, and I've traveled all over the United States to deliver yoga and mindfulness programming to teachers, counselors, school therapists, school personnel. So with that, when Kim and Maria reached out to me, we talked a lot about what is the need, the discussion for addressing social emotional learning. And through the state of Ohio, through the Ohio Department of Education, we now have social emotional learning standards, K through 12, in the state of Ohio. And those can be delivered at liberty of any school district. So the Breathe Initiative is sort of setting a little bit of a platform to help support the school system in delivering and supporting social emotional learning. And so there's been a lot of community education and involvement that way. Through the Breathe Initiative, one of the things that I do is I'll come in, and we've done customized programming throughout the last several school years for different student groups at the high school. How students, just mental health and well-being and their emotional welfare affects their performance, whether that's through their academic performance, athletic performance, in the arts areas, and how that just kind of affects their overall well-being. And we've also done some programming specific for teachers and to help them manage the challenges and the changes that are constantly happening in the arena of education.
How would you define mindfulness? I hear you using that word, and I don't think our audience probably understands what it is.
Mindfulness is simply present moment awareness. So being right here, right now. And so if you consider that and think about how important that is for both teachers and students, teachers spend an inordinate amount of time planning really good lessons, and they're trying to deliver information. But because of just kind of the state of the world that we're in, modern technology, there are so many distractions. And kids, all of us, any human being, we can be very concerned about what has happened before. So we often get caught in worrying about things that have already happened, things that are in the past. And then we start to project and worry about what is going to happen next. What else do I have to do? What's on my agenda? What's on the to-do list? And so it's very hard for our brains to just be in this present moment. And so through mindfulness practices and activities like focused breathing, kind of noticing where different energy or sensations are in the body. So just kind of training our brains to do a little bit of a pause button is what I call it, so that we can focus right here, right now. And I often explain it like when you are having a conversation, or if you're having dinner or you're out on a date, you kind of want that eyes to eyes connection instead of somebody who is looking at their phone or looking off into the distance. You want them, to be with you in the moment. It's exactly what teachers want. They want their students to be with them so that they can deliver material. And if the students are present, then that allows them the opportunity to absorb that information instead of being distracted.
Kim, how can mindfulness help teachers?
Jen might be better to answer that. I think we should refer to Jen on that.
Okay.
Mindfulness can help teachers. Again, we want the whole premise of mindfulness is to be present. And for teachers, we want them, they have all of these things to consider: content, students, families, lesson planning, all of the other management that happens in that job. But having them be present and notice, okay, my mind is wandering, I need to bring it back. Or my heart is starting to race a little bit because I'm worried about creating a new test, or I'm worried about what that student came to me and talked about this morning and, before third period. So allowing them to take that pause, take a deep breath, just kind of bring it back to center. That is, a very helpful way for students to maintain that present moment awareness for the students who are in front of them in the moment.
Okay, Kim. What are some of the stresses that students face these days?
Well, we do try to involve a lot of students, and we ask them those questions. And we actually developed a little video about it. But, and we've also done a few surveys. And what we see is that a lot of the things that cause stress are situations in their families, relationships with friends, academics is a big one. The pressure from academics, the pressure from extracurriculars. Those are the top four that I can think of right now.
Okay. And Maria, are the stresses different these days than they were for their parents?
I think that's significant, yes. We don't really live in a kid's world. We don't live with the type of pressures that technology has brought on. We have small tastes of it, I believe, but kids now are so hyper-focused on their image, I believe, and their online presence, and I don't think kids ever really can disconnect. My son is 17, and I see him constantly getting notifications on his phone for Snapchat, for other things like that. They they never can turn off. And I know Jen can speak to this more, but kids today never get a chance to just be silent, to, and I think it is important, you know, in their lives when they do get a chance to put their phones down and to put their technology down and to put their Xbox down and all these things, and be in the present moment, because then they start to become self-aware. And I think self-awareness is the first step in self-management. And that's really what mindfulness is about to me, is taking stock of the current moment without any judgments, first of all, and then also noticing and being aware of what your body's doing. And breath work is such a huge part of that, as Jen has taught us all. Understanding that can bring about some self-regulation practices, and that's what kids need to be doing. Jen, maybe you could speak more to that, how stressors are different.
Well, I think you did a really lovely job with that. But you're so right. Kids are so distracted by everything. And you consider the current situation that we're in, we're online learning. And so, you know, as I sit here on my MacBook, you know, the window can pop up. Oh, there's an email. Oh, there's a text message. And you literally cannot turn that off. And I think our kids today have just grown up in this society of instant gratification, constant immediate feedback. And so teaching them and giving them opportunities and letting them know that it is okay to literally just pause, just stop for a moment and listen to the sound of a bell or a chime or a singing bowl. Take a deep breath and allow everything to just pause so that you can restart. That's part of what it does. It's all of that pause. It affects our nervous system. This constant state of being on all the time really puts our whole nervous system in a state of just anxiety all the time. And so allowing our bodies and our minds that opportunity to breathe, to pause through any type of mindfulness practice that we're doing allows our nervous systems to calm down and then to reset so that we can approach things with fresh eyes, a fresh mind, new energy, and move forward.
All right, we're listening today to and talking about the Breathe program at Revere High School, which is in Summit County. And with me are Maria Manning, who is one of the co-chairs of the Breathe program or co-founders of the Breathe program, and Kim Heminger, who is also a co-founder of the Breathe program, and Jen Hayes, who is the owner of All Afterlight Fitness and Educational Consulting. And I am pleased to have them all with me. Forum 360 is a global outlook with a local view. I understand, and you have to tell me, Maria, if this is true, 73% of students say that their stress affects them physically.
Yeah, you know, we don't really think about that much. But stress definitely. We had actually a seminar of sorts we put on. The Breathe Initiative did a parent night a few months back in February, and we had one of our Breathe members, Dr. Tara Scott, talk about the implications to our body of stress. And she talked a lot about cortisol and how damaging that is and so forth, and how important it is to reduce that in different ways, and how sleep plays into that. And so yes, teens do, just like we adults, have physical manifestations of stress. And like Jen was just talking about, when you're constantly ramped up and you never have a chance to put the brakes on, you know, that nervous system doesn't get a break. So it can cause, it causes anxiety. And that's really one of the main things that we're seeing. Our counselors at our high school told us that they literally have a revolving door in their offices of kids coming in all day with anxiety issues. So that's one of the main focuses of our initiative is to bring down, well, we bring down cortisol, right, through the breathing exercises we do and through the other things we promote. We also are promoting sleep, and we're promoting exercise, and we're promoting a healthy diet. We're promoting other things that we've researched and found to be effective too. We just installed a gratitude wall in our school where kids can use that too, a gratitude journal, things like that. So we're trying to take a holistic approach to this stress and anxiety management.
Jen, are we seeing positive or negative results with the trends in dealing with stress?
Well, I think the positives are that we are bringing about more awareness to the fact that we as a society, and especially for our students, that stress is manifesting, that it shows up, in front of us in education, whether it's teachers or parents. But we're seeing that when we provide tools for students, and the beauty of something like a mindfulness practice or focused breathing is that we all have those tools right here in our bodies. We don't need, books or any other, we certainly don't need a device. We don't need any extra things, that we are able to just use our mind and our body and our breathing to just kind of reconnect and refocus ourselves. So providing those things and sharing that with kids to say, here is a simple breathing technique. And there are so many different ways to manage an inhale and an exhale and your input and your output and the way that affects the brain to calm the nervous system, or even to energize, the body to get ready to take a test or to perform. So there are lots of positive things that are happening, and we're kind of spreading those tools out for our kids.
Kim, some people would say that helping students manage stress is a parent's responsibility. What do you say to that?
Well, I think we would all say that the research is very clear that when schools get involved with social emotional learning, helping kids manage their emotions, helping kids make decisions, helping kids build relationships. When schools get involved with that, the overall well-being of young people just flourishes. And in addition to that, what we see academics rise. So the research is so clear that, as Jen mentioned earlier, that the Ohio Department of Education this summer passed a standard mandating that all schools in Ohio now include social emotional learning practices in their curriculum. And we see the Breathe Teams programs as a subset of social emotional learning. So I guess the way I see it is that, in our country, we have a history of communities coming together in many different ways to help support children, to help support parents. And this is just another way of doing that, of, bringing the school and the community together to help parents and to help students, give them tools to manage stress.
Okay, Maria, how has the Breathe program been supporting teens during this school shutdown?
Yeah, well, what we did was, again, we always want to partner with our school district and the counselors that are already on the front lines there. So we called them, emailed them, and asked them if we could help them out and offer some online sessions with Jen to our kids. They already had a segment of their day that they were allowed to do some, I guess, personal interest things. We call it Minuteman time. But what we've done is we've brought Jen on board to lead some sessions with kids online. And so she could maybe talk more about that. That's what we've done during the pandemic.
Okay. How can an interested person get involved with this?
So basically, calling our school district. You can look up the main office number, but I think we're going to probably give Kim's information as well. Kim, do you want to address that?
People can either call me and I'll provide my number, or an email would be probably even better. And then we'll give you a call back and see what your interest is. And we'd love it if you joined our Breathe team. And if so, then we'll put you on the mailing list and we'll let you know when our next meetings are.
You want to give them the email address?
Sure. It's long, makingwellnesswork@gmail.com. So makingwellnesswork@gmail.com.
Is this program free, Maria, to the students?
Yes, everything has been free, from our after-school sessions to some of the ones we offer during the day. What we have done before is a series of programs for sports involvement, where we'll host a series of like 7 sessions once a week for sports teams or any other type of student group teams, but everything has been totally free. But we do like contract with like Jen, and she is a paid person for us, but she's given so much for free anyway, just to put that out there. But we have written some grants to get some funding for some of the awesome, excellent programs that we offer. And but for the students and the teachers, yes, it is free.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I thank you, Maria, Kim, and Jen. This has been a challenge with the stay-at-home method that we've been doing, but I think you've done a great job. We thank you for appearing on Forum 360 and for doing all that you do with the students and teachers to help them improve their lives. This is Ardith Keck for Forum 360. Thank you.
Forum 360 is brought to you by John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, the Akron Community Foundation, Hudson Community Television, the Rubber City Radio Group, Shaw Jewish Community Center of Akron, Blue Green, Electric Impulse Communications, and Forum 360 supporters.